we blame the gun that is releasing that bullet, or do we blame the person that is pulling the trigger? Gun violence is a popular topic in media, and you may know of someone who owns a gun or has used it before. I know a lot of people who own guns, and I personally believe that they would never use those weapons to kill self-defense. The purpose of my speech is to convince you all that guns don't kill people, but rather people kill people. So first I'm going to be talking about the extent as to which guns claim lives, and then why taking them away from our citizens is a bad idea, and then conclude with who we should really be blaming. So guns, cars, and illegal substances. Which one do you think claims the most lives? According to an article by The Buzz, in 2016, there were approximately 40,000 motor vehicle-related deaths, 39,000 firearm-related deaths, and 64,000 drug overdose deaths. Guns are dangerous, yes, but there are also other factors that kill more people. Let's take drugs, for example. There are a lot of drugs circulating in the United States, and many of these which are illegal substances. A lot of teenagers in our nation, they somehow find an access point to these drugs, and they're illegal, yet they claim so many lives a year. So if our teenagers who have less resources than adults can somehow find an access point, who is to say that the bad people out there can't find their own access points to these weapons? Taking guns away only leaves civilians at a loss for defense, and it gives the perpetrators more power. Guns do claim a large number of lives, but taking them away doesn't solve issues. Seizing the guns from citizens gives criminals more power, and it leaves civilians defenseless. Yes, there are already laws in place in order to restrict people from buying guns, yet people who use them in the way that they shouldn't still somehow find access to these, so there's something wrong. Obviously, we need to place more restrictions. According to an article I found on gun violence, they stated that in the last decade, the world has experienced mass killers who have used bombs, driven cars into crowds, crashed planes into buildings, and stabbed other people. This shows that the means of harming other people are wide, it's not just guns. And those who intend to harm others, they will. They'll find their way, they don't have to use guns, they can use other things out there. Guns kill people, yes, but so do cars, planes, and knives. Yet these things aren't being banned, are they? No one is pushing to take these things away. So I found a comic stating, different things like, someone was beaten with a club, what do you say? What's the matter with you? Someone was strangled, what do you say? What's the matter with you? Why would you do that? You stab somebody, what's the matter with you? But if you use the gun, someone says, we have to take the gun away. That's the issue here. So banning firearms, it decreases gun-related crimes, but it doesn't eliminate that there are other means to hurt other people. Guns aren't the issue, but rather the people are. So who are we really blaming here, the killer or the trigger? Cases that spark gun control debate are due to people who use the weapon with the intention of harming others. Taking guns away doesn't stop them, it'll only change the way that they hurt people. For example, in London, 1,299 stabbings till the end of April during 2018 occurred. In February, more than 250 knives and swords were seized across London in just 1 week, and 283 people, most of them teenagers, were arrested for carrying them, according to an article by Sophia Petker. Other nations are struggling with violence, with the use of other weapons, not just guns. It's not just us in the US, and it's not just guns that are being used. So now that I've talked about guns and how they affect us, I encourage you all to think about what reforms you will support and what reforms you will push for, keeping in mind all that I just brought forward. So I first talked about the extent to which guns claim lives, and then explained why banning them would be a bad idea, and ended with proving that people are the issue, it's not the guns. This speech was meant to prove that the problem with gun violence is not caused by the weapons themselves, but rather the people who are holding them. Before I go, let me ask you one thing. When it comes to events such as mass shootings, do you blame the gun for existing and for working, or do you blame the person holding